It's not a nice place to be. I always start with how the website looks. They don't even know who you are as a service, so why would they? That would be the first call to action. If it takes like 40 seconds to load, everything we do for our clients, we always do for ourselves. No one really knows what is happening, right, with the algorithm and what people are doing. So it's all about testing. Everybody looks at reviews. So we come in and we sort of put together a strategy that their team can implement. They might be their competitors in business, but when it comes down to SEO, they're completely different. There's a lot of educating that we do on discovery calls and like onboarding with clients, because we know that they're doing this and they would benefit from this. And if we can show them that it will be, obviously it benefits their business and it benefits us from a revenue point of view as well. But actually speaking to people in your industry that do the same thing as you is like so important. I used to hate networking. It was like the worst thing ever. Yes, they might be competitors, but there's plenty of fish in the sea for everyone. And if you can help each other, I've always been under the impression that, keep yourself to yourself. Google's not going to go anywhere. I think it's going to adapt to how things are going, which it is with like the AI overview and different things coming into SERPs. Yes, but I'm never sharing that information.
Welcome to the podcast. Today I am delighted to be joined by Tom Jauncey, the head nerd at Nautilus Marketing. Welcome to the show, Tom.
Hey Chris, thanks for having me.
Thank you. It's been a couple of weeks we were together at a conference recently. Yes, which was very nice.
Lots of gin, great.
And now we're both complaining about the cold weather.
Absolutely, yeah. If only the Cyprus weather was here now, eh?
I know, yeah. Tell me about it. Right, Tom, if you could start please by giving us a brief introduction about yourself and how you got into digital marketing and owning Nautilus Marketing.
Absolutely. So I went to drama school many years ago and had a couple of social media clients I was doing stuff for. And then I was like, I don't want to do this acting stuff anymore. My mental health was really bad. Industry is not a nice place, but that's a story for another day. And just cracked on with my social media clients, creating content for them. And then just started working with freelancers to offer other services. And then fast track to today, we're a team of 23 nerds. We're a full service agency. We do everything from SEO, web, design, all your other different bits and bobs in between. Yeah, that's us in a nutshell, really.
That's awesome. I am interested in the not a nice industry because I once did tread the boards. I was the lion in Wizard of Oz and Kinnicky in my university's production of Grease. But yeah, where did you train to be an actor? Why didn't it pan out? What was wrong with that industry?
I went to Birmingham Ormiston Academy. It's called BOA. It was the sister school of the Brit School. So I was there from year 9. So I did my GCSEs there through to college, and had an agent while I was there and did loads of stuff. But I think it's a very competitive industry. It's very similar to SEO in a sense that there's loads of digital marketing agencies out there. But the problem that I had with it was you would go to 3-4 castings or auditions a week, but then you would hear back if you got a recall or if you got penciled for the job, but no one would say, no, you didn't get it. And obviously, like when you send proposals and stuff, the majority of clients say, yeah, like we've gone for someone else or whatever, absolutely fine. But I think not knowing what was wrong, and then you look at like your image, like is there something wrong with you? Or so then you go like down a whole rabbit hole, and it's just a very bitchy industry. I remember I went for an audition for Hollyoaks.
Okay.
And I was really excited for it. And it was for this like young guy that was in one of the families. And there was a guy there that I knew and that I'd seen at like other auditions and castings, and he got the part. And I was like, oh mate, well done, like really proud of you. And then he just never talked to me afterwards. So it's like you help other people, then they don't give anything back, or it's just a very bitchy, it's not a nice place to be. My mental health just went down a massive dip during it. So, and it's not a consistent income. I mean, owning a business isn't really as well, but you get paid really good for a job. You could do a commercial and you could get paid 60 grand buyout fee, and then you might not work for the rest of the year, or you might not work for 2 years, and then you might pick up something on like a feature film and get paid 2 grand, and then you might not work for 6 months. So it's a constant like up and down. So yeah,
and that lack of feedback as well, I suppose, then doesn't allow you to like go, oh, okay, this is what I need to work on in order to.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think it's a lot of people when I was in the industry were like campaigning for it, because if you go to 3 job interviews a week and never hear back from them for years on end, that's going to like really play on your mind, and then you can go into the whole overthinking stuff. But yeah, I think it needs to change. Just like if someone sends you a proposal and you're not happy with it or you don't want to go ahead, 80% of people will say we've gone somewhere else, but then there will be that small amount that's just don't get back to you, which is fine. But on a consistent basis all the time, it really plays on you, which isn't fun.
Well, now you're in the digital marketing world. How do you think your acting career has influenced your perspective and the way that you operate, both individually and as a company within the realm of the SEO and digital landscaping?
I think from a fun perspective, so like we're not a corporate company at all. Like we call ourselves nerds, and that's sort of our image and our branding. I've never had a proper job. I worked at a theatre for about 7 months, showing people to their seats. I had the worst boss ever, and that's the only proper job I've had. So putting in to the whole marketing stuff and just being a little bit different to other agencies, because as I said earlier, there are so many digital marketing agencies out there. We're fully remote, so we don't have an office, we have a virtual address, we sort of crack on and do our thing. I guess it helps with things like interviews and talking to clients and communication, and I think that's also where a lot of agencies fail. Like when they're talking to clients, they're just seen as another number and pay your retainer, and that's kind of it. Whereas with us, you have a dedicated account manager who you can talk to whenever. It's more of a holistic get to know you, go out for some drinks, take your client for dinner, that kind of stuff, rather than getting as many clients as possible and then saying, your client number 098, here's your invoice, send you a monthly report, and that's it. So communication and just having fun, really. You've got to enjoy life a bit.
Do you do quarterly client reports as theatrical productions where you
that would be really cool. Can you imagine a musical about how you're SEO? Yeah. Well, the people on LinkedIn that do stuff like that, isn't there? But we send monthly looms for reports. If a client can't jump on a call, we always prefer to get them on a call just so we can have a bit of a catch up. But as you know, a lot of people are busy, so send in a quick loom. And I think incorporating tech as well, I love it, like new softwares and things like that. And rather than jumping on a meeting to explain something for half an hour, you can send a loom for 3 minutes. Look at productions.
Are you going down the tech rabbit hole then?
Yeah, we implemented Monday.com about a year and a half ago. We used to use Trello before, and I think Trello's great, but Monday is like Trello on steroids. So the amount of automations you can do, like when you mark something as complete, you can send your client an email. It works really, really well, and I love doing things like that. It makes me excited. Okay,
so talking about implementations then and strategy, I imagine for you, for a lot of clients, it starts with an SEO audit. You've shared insights publicly before about conducting SEO audits. What are the most common issues that you tend to find when you first meet a client and conduct that first SEO audit of their website?
Awful websites, especially on discovery calls when we do a bit of an SEO audit or clients pay us to do it as a standalone service. I always start with how the website looks, because I think you can do everything technically right on a website, but if it looks awful and it looks like it was built in the 1990s on HTML, it's just not going to perform very well. A lot of SEOs get caught up in the technical side, but they don't look at the user journey. Okay, if you go onto a website, if you click buy now straight away, they don't even know who you are as a service, so why would they? That would be the first call to action. So looking at more of obviously the technical stuff, yes, but then looking at how a website works. If someone's coming from SEO, they're going to have a different journey for someone from ads. How would that landing page look? That kind of stuff. Because I can list out 20 things that are technically wrong with the website, but if it takes 40 seconds to load and it's so confusing, you don't know where to go, there's so many drop downs and stuff, it's just not going to go very well, as you know.
Yeah, and just as a user of the internet, it's going to have an effect on conversions. If you land on a weird, dodgy, poorly designed looking website and you can just click back and click on the next option and it looks stunning. We've all done that, haven't we? You just have so much more trust, and I like to look at nice websites as well. I'll be enticed by a new SaaS product. I've been recently looking into the rabbit hole of the PKM sort of space with these different tools, and some of these websites are so stunningly beautiful, and they're the ones that are I'll be I'm going to save that as a tab and I'm going to click in and have a look what that looks like later. So it must make a huge difference. So yeah, this is a great place to start.
Absolutely. And when we build websites as well, so when we're looking at a website, we're not just looking at an SEO perspective. We've got the design eye and making sure it's technically sound as well. Why would you pay £1,000 a month or whatever for SEO if you've got a one-page website with hardly any content, you know, it's not. But some people don't know that, and you know, we work with smaller businesses and medium-sized businesses. We have a few big clients as well, but often or not, the clients that we get have never done SEO before. Maybe they're doing really well at ads, but they really want to, you know, look at the organic side of stuff. If they've got a one-page website, you know, works great for ads, but if you want to do SEO, you need the content there. So yeah, just advising from that point of view as well.
We had on recently the head of marketing for a big UK-based law firm franchise. And he was saying that the biggest issue that he finds when he first, because he also does freelance for like other law firms, and he said the biggest issue is these sites have not been updated in 20 years sometimes. And he said they know they want more traffic, they want to get, you know, close more customers, get more clients. But he said they're so reluctant to take his, like, we need to start with how poorly designed this website is.
Yeah. We've got a law firm client that we work with, and they're quite big. They do like criminal law and other like more like residential stuff rather than corporate. And their website's okay, but they've got offices all around the UK. We spend loads of money with ads for them, and we do SEO as well. But they're very content heavy, and for their blogs and stuff, it works really well. So yeah, it is important.
100%. You advocate for location-based SEO through specific landing pages. So can you explain how this does have an impact on the visibility for like local search rankings? Maybe we could use a solicitor's firm as an example.
Yeah, so for them, we have a landing page for each location for each service that they offer. Because they target so many locations and so many different services within their sectors, we just build out loads of landing pages. And I think it works phenomenally well. We started everything we do for our clients, we always do for ourselves. So we started building out landing pages when we launched our older website years ago, and it just worked really well. There's a guy on YouTube called A Nerd's World called Chris, also called Chris. And I first started watching him years ago, even before I started to do SEO. He's like a very quirky character, like has loads of taxidermy, like he's like a massive giraffe head in his background of his videos, and quite a cool guy. And he really advocates for it as well. And I think when I like to believe in like reverse engineer success, not just from a competitor perspective, but like what others are doing in the space. Obviously you have to be initiative yourself, but local SEO has been great for us and for our clients. And for the sake of building out a landing page, copying it, changing the copy a little bit, changing out the keywords, it's 20-minute, half an hour exercise. Don't need to change the content fully.
So is that then, if you have a law client who's servicing multiple different types of law across multiple locations, let's say they're doing criminal law, would you do a criminal law in Bradford landing page, and then also a wills and probate Bradford landing page, and then a criminal law Wrexham landing page, wills and probate Wrexham, and you just do that across the full spectrum of what they're offering?
Yeah, depending on the service level that we have with them. So some clients we work with, we do everything. We do the full shebang. Where other clients, they have their own marketing team in-house, and we'll be like, here's your homework, go and do it. And if they can do it, you know, and we can crack on and do other consulting stuff, it works better. But yeah, every service, every landing page, the more that we can target, the better. And then we can feed that into our ads as well. So we can utilize the same landing pages that we're using for SEO for some of the ad campaigns as well. Because a lot of clients we work with, we do SEO and then we build up their ads as well and do them sort of both hand in hand.
And then you do location specific ads and send them to the relevant landing page. Okay. And in terms of that content, will it literally just be changing that location and that name of that service in the copy, or yeah, so sometimes the copy's tweaked a little bit. Some offices for that law firm do slightly different things. They have different partners within the firm, but 9 times out of 10 it will be 80% the same amount of copy, and then we just tweak the keywords and tweak the services or delete blocks of things that they don't offer and keep the general structure. Rather make it, you know, you don't need completely new design landing pages for each one. No. Change it up. And there's no fear of duplicate content. Like, could you simply, if you were offering identical services across different locations, can you literally just take, you know, 99% of the content and just change the location?
We did it for our SEO landing pages, and I wanted to see what would happen. So we kept the same content, same design. We changed the images on the page to be like the cities that we're targeting. And all we did is change London SEO to Birmingham SEO or Cardiff SEO. No issues.
And do you rank for that? Okay, I'm jotting that down. I'm going to go and steal your content.
Great.
Did you just pick the major cities there, UK?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to see what would happen. And I said, well, it's not done anything. And I guess this is the thing about SEO, right? No one really knows what is happening, right, with the algorithm and what people are doing. So it's all about testing. That's why I love people like Carl Roof, where he ranked a whole website on Lorem Ipsum and just changed the keyword. So there's the premise, yeah? It's the same thing. Okay, so that brings me neatly then to links. So let's say you've built out landing pages for every major city in the UK. Let's say you're a local service business, you're offering plumbing nationwide. Do you need to focus on homepage authority building links for the domain, or are you focusing on individual landing pages for the specific areas? How are you tackling that link building strategy? Mixture. So we'll always do home-based stuff, mainly when like digital PR and things like that, because it brings up the brand's authority. And then for keywords that we're targeting, absolutely, we'll build out links to those ones. To those individual landing pages? Landing pages, yeah. Or service pages, or whichever ones we're targeting with the clients. And do you focus on maintaining those like money pages? So if you've got a handful of keywords that are performing well, do you ever look at like content pruning? Will you reduce the number of service pages if they've like, you know, they've been indexed for over a year and they're just not getting traffic? Will you try and reduce that content bloat, or will you just leave them and sort of see? If things aren't working, then we'll always go in and see what we can do. If something's working, don't fix it, as they say. But yeah, we like to do audits of like the whole website, maybe once a quarter, just to see if there's any other things that, this is pulling in nicely, let's give that a little bit of a boost as well. And the way that we work with clients is we work on like a keyword basis for SEO. So we'll target, 40, 50 keywords. And then once we've got to them to a really good position, we'll switch them out for another, but we'll keep an eye on the other ones that we've got really good rankings for. It works quite nice because they get more for their money. Yeah. Yeah, which is quite 100%. Good. But Tom, SEO is dead, is it not? Everyone says this. I see it like at least once a week on LinkedIn. Yeah. I don't think it's going anywhere. Why would it? I think probably in future, obviously people are using I use ChatGPT to search for stuff all the time. I don't think Google's going to go anywhere. I think it will just change. I mean, you've got like the AI overview and stuff now in SERPs. So I think, I don't think it's going anywhere. No, I think for me, I've seen my own personal the preferences and the way that I search change. This is why I'm really bullish on e-com, home services, local SEO, because I've been doing all this, as you know, I've been buying and moving house. So I've been having to search for a whole bunch of stuff that's based on where I am, or I'm buying loads of crap to fix up and put in the house. So for that, I am on Google. I go to Google, I want to see a trusted website, or I want to, and then I want to go on that journey via that route. But like you said, I've got Perplexity on my phone. If I want to find an informational based, who was the director of this film that I just watched, what else has he done? Can't be bothered to go to Google and then go on IMDb and then find the director and then I'll just ask Perplexity. So I think it's individual preferences, but it's still going to be utilized for these areas that we can see. I agree 100%. And I think it's really weird to think however many years ago before ChatGPT existed, and now it must have millions and billions of users every day. So yeah, I don't think it's going anywhere. Google will always be there. Okay, speaking of Google and local SEO, let's talk about Google My Business then. So it's a key element, as a key part of the strategy. You want to be ranking in those map packs. You want to be maintaining a good profile. It's often an underlooked or underutilized part. I imagine you see a lot of clients, and once you've done the audit, you've criticized them through a theatrical song and dance on how bad their website looks. I also that now. Yeah, I also imagine you identify issues on the Google My Business profile. Absolutely, and I think it's a massive tool that a lot of people forget about, especially for local businesses and smaller businesses. It's an amazing way to build up reviews, show yourself as a trusted source. People forget you can post to Google My Business. People forget you can, post photos as well as the business. It works really well for restaurants as well. A great tactic that a friend of mine uses is, in his restaurant, he'll say to all of his staff, mention about a review, and if they mention your name, you get put in a draw to win an Amazon voucher at the end of the month and stuff. And obviously that doesn't take any time for the team to do. It builds up their reviews, and especially with restaurants, everybody looks at reviews. Has anyone got food poisoning? What's the food like? Pictures of the food, cocktails, all that kind of stuff. So I think optimizing it well and not forgetting the key things, making sure you've got your address on there, your phone number's right, your website address, WordPress, reviews, your social media links, your Calendly booking link, posting there as well, a couple of times a week. Ties in quite nicely with your social media. If you use a scheduling app, you can literally just add it as a thing and just put out the same content. It works nicely.
I think it's one of those things as well where you've just got to be active on it, like dive in there like 1 or 2 times a week. We had the founder of Local Falcon on recently, and he was talking about you've also got to like really monitor. So there can be some underhand stuff happening. People can move your location pin, and your small restaurant in X area is now 100 miles away. And if you're not like continually monitoring that, and all of a sudden like how busy you are goes from here to like down here, like people that aren't savvy or they haven't built systems to regularly check and implement and monitor these things. It's one of the most important parts of a small business, isn't it?
We get it all the time. Even on our own Google My Business, we've got like 170 reviews or something. And once a month, there'll be the same person that's like, this business doesn't exist anymore, or this isn't their right website. And like we were talking about earlier about like competitors and like Google search and bidding on brand keywords, I think, there's a lot of untoward stuff that people will do just to get a one-up on someone. But
some bad actors out there.
Absolutely, they're behind the door. Yeah.
Okay, so we've talked about local. I imagine you also have larger clients. So how do the strategies differ? So a lot of people say local's easy. I don't think it is necessarily, but I think
it's harder.
Yeah, but I also think there's clear things to do. Get the basics right, and it's not easy, but you get the basics right. And if you weren't doing the basics, then you're going to see like a large ROI in probably a relatively short space of time. What about larger clients in different verticals? How do the strategies differ? What are you seeing that's working now?
The larger clients we work with is mainly consulting. So they'll have their SEO team in-house or a marketing manager who's doing the day-to-day stuff. And then we'll jump on a consulting call a couple of times a month and sort of show them different bits that they could be doing regular audits and things like that. We worked with a vitamin company about a year ago, and the problem that they had is they had a great website that had loads of traffic to the homepage, but then the other pages for all the different vitamins that they recommend for like different things, it was like a directory. They didn't really know what to do. They didn't have a blog strategy or anything like that. So we come in and we sort of put together a strategy that their team can implement, what they need to be doing, and in terms of like blog content, how to write the perfect blog, and we sort of gave them loads of guides and SOPs for them to do. I think local SEO can be harder, especially for a brand new website, like you're building it up from the ground up. Whereas with larger clients, when they've already got that established DA, they've got a good amount of traffic, and they're ranking for keywords maybe that they never intended to, putting them on a trajectory to start ranking for the keywords that they want to rank for is a lot easier, because the legwork's been done. They've already got good links, maybe they're doing some press bits as well. So for us to come in and just recommend things and implement them, it's quite nice.
Yeah, that 100%. And I think with us, the one thing that we notice with larger clients, or certainly larger sites, bigger authority, a larger starting point for the amount of organic traffic they're getting. The larger organizations, it can be like the Titanic in terms of like getting stuff done. That can be like, and I always find it fascinating as well, where you could be dealing with a marketing manager that like might quite candidly just say to you like, oh, I don't know about that. I don't know about like SEO for blog posts and stuff. You're like, you're the marketing manager of like a pretty big website.
Yeah. I know exactly what you mean.
I find odd. But yeah, I think you can get a bit more friction with those sorts of clients in terms of getting stuff done, getting them to sign off on stuff.
Yeah. Because it has to go through a whole speak to senior leadership team, then the content marketing manager, then the marketing manager, then the chief marketing officer. Whereas with smaller clients, where we're doing local SEO, they can sign it off on an email. But
yeah. You mentioned competitor like analysis earlier. How do you approach that as a strategy? It's long been something that's worked. We've got like a small personal finance website. We just built that off the back of competitor analysis, old school classic sort of researching page one of Google and then just sort of doing a better job of what's already ranking. I suppose it still works to this day. You see it on real business as well. Like you can just emulate a successful business and take market share. How are you currently approaching competitor analysis in terms of strategy?
Exactly what you just said about actually looking at it manually and seeing what's going on in competitors. The really interesting thing I find is when we speak to clients and ask who their competitors are, they might be their competitors in business, but when it comes down to SEO, they're completely different. So it's always really interesting when we have like onboarding calls with clients and we're talking to them about competitors, seeing actually who they think their competitor is. Obviously, you've got all of your tools, which I won't talk about because a tool is a tool. You've got SEMrush, Ahrefs, where you can pull all those reports and stats. But I think actually looking at things and taking the time to manually look, like searching the first page of Google, what's happening, you know, what type of content have we got, what style of website, how many pages they've got, because SEO changes all the time, but the basics is still there. And I think a lot of people can get caught up in, I'm going to run this report on this tool and do this and do this, when yeah, it's great and tech is brilliant, as we said earlier, but to actually understand the foundations of what's working on that website, and you can understand by looking at it, they've got a great blog, they've got loads of social shares, their social media is really good, it pulls into the whole thing. And it's quite nice when we are doing competitor research, because we are full service, we can sort of look at the whole picture. So yes, their website might be really good, but their technical SEO is awful, the content's bad, it's not linking into socials and things like that. So you can sort of pull it together a lot more nicely rather than just pulling a report on a tool. But tools are important, but I think, you know, you've got to be old school a little bit to see exactly what's going on.
Get in there, roll your sleeves up.
Yeah, get dirty.
I think that's really interesting what you said about, especially, I suppose this is probably more from those sort of larger clients, maybe marketing manager or whatnot. You can say, so who's your main competition? And they could list out like, 3 of their actual real business competition. And you could say, actually, look, these are like the pages that make you money. These are your target keywords. This is your competition. And you haven't mentioned any of them. These are the guys that are above you and taking traffic. These are who you need to beat.
So I always like that, because it's a bit like, oh, okay. And then it's like, they actually can see the value that you bring initially. And they're like, oh, I've never heard of that competitor before. So it's a nice way to, you know, not show off a little bit, but show you as an expert and, you know, what you offer as a service. Absolutely.
And to identify that as well is actually going to give you the ability to implement something which will have a positive impact.
Get results, yes.
Yeah, get results, which everybody likes, doesn't it? Like, even if they don't fully understand it, okay, I've never heard of these people. Are you sure they're my competitor? Look, let's just do our job. Here's more traffic, more conversions, more clients, more phone calls, all that good stuff. Yeah.
And when you show them the stats and be like, this is your website, this is who you think is your competitor, and this is actually your competitor, it kind of makes sense. Because the problem that we find sometimes is people just aren't adverse in SEO. Like, business owners don't know what SEO is, right? Unless you've done marketing before, unless you've gone to Google and be like, oh, I want to rank for this keyword. There's a lot of educating that we do on discovery calls and like onboarding with clients, because it is a little bit of a mystery in terms of what SEOs do. If you think about it, you're putting things onto a website and making changes, and then you're automatically going to like show on Google in a couple of months. It does sound a bit woo-woo to like someone that doesn't know marketing or SEO at all.
Yeah, but I think that's really good. As a company, we offer like a single service in terms of digital PR, and that's the niche we've carved out for ourselves, and that's what we're good at and we focus on. But we're not offering anything outside of that anyway. But as a full service, it must enable such interesting like feedback loops on all of your clients, and then be able to see what's working across a broad spectrum of these marketing strategies, and you can just get better and better at what you do for all the clients that you serve.
Yeah. And I mean, initially, it was just social media that I did like 7 years ago. And then we sort of moved into full service, and I started to add web first and then SEO and then design and sort of build it all out. You're right, because when we're on, you know, even a monthly reporting call with a client, we can see that their SEO is doing really well and they're getting some leads from it, but then we could recommend Google Ads, and we can sort of build out a strategy for them. And obviously it's nice because the client can then see the results from that, but it's a nice, easy upsell for us to do, because we know that client already, we know that they're doing this and they would benefit from this. And if we can show them that it will be, obviously it benefits their business and it benefits us from a revenue point of view as well.
Yeah, it's perfect. Okay, so just as we're, I suppose, approaching the end of this conversation, how do you keep up to date with, we were talking before we did the podcast, and you said you were like me, you go down like new tool rabbit holes, which I think is good. I think we've got to be doing that. We've got to be testing new stuff all the time. How do you individually and as an agency stay like ahead of the curve in terms of this rapid pace of change we are experiencing continuously?
I think there's so many things you can see online on like YouTube and stuff, but actually speaking to people in your industry that do the same thing as you is like so important. So like conferences, I used to hate networking. It was like the worst thing ever. And going to so many conferences, you obviously meet those people. And then, you know, we were not at Cyprus, I think it was at Poland last year. I was talking to someone and said, oh, we've got this problem. They were like, oh, we had this problem too. We then did this. And it's like, oh, okay, that's been like really bugging me for the last 2 months now, and that makes like so much more sense. So yeah, speaking to people, like actually having conversations and not being an introvert and sit behind a screen all day and looking at tools and YouTube videos, which is not a problem with, but speaking to people that actually do what you do and you can learn from them. Yes, they might be competitors, but there's plenty of fish in the sea for everyone. And if you can help each other, you know, we've had it where we've got a client before and they've been too big and I've referred it to another SEO agency because they're a lot better at that stuff than us. So it comes in swings and roundabouts. But staying up to date, you've got all your tech stuff, but I think just having actual conversations with people, joining SEO groups. I'm in like 3 WhatsApp groups for SEO, which is, I have 50 messages a day. But then someone said yesterday they use this tool in their agency. It pulls in Search Console. They can assign everything to their team and they can do everything they would for an agency. And I was like, oh, actually, that's a really cool bit of software. But I wouldn't have known it if I wasn't in for that WhatsApp group.
Yeah, well, same with me. My WhatsApp's continually pinging. And I don't think you need to, and I totally agree with you as well about networking. I wouldn't class you as an introvert after spending time with you drinking in Cyprus.
Alcohol makes a difference, Chris.
But yeah, I think you only need that one nugget a week or a month. Get 1% better a day. Listening and being prepared to put yourself out your comfort zone and going to events and mixing with people. I'd say this as an industry is one where the potential is so vast and massive that it really doesn't matter if someone says, hey, look, we do it like this. Go copy us, see if it works, so I can help you out with that. Like, everyone is up for just sharing and giving, just because the size of the potential pool is the world, isn't it? It's huge.
And I think that was a massive change for me, because obviously I've had some sort of an agency for 7 years, and only in the last 2-3 years I've gone to events and conferences, because I've always been under the impression that, keep yourself to yourself, don't talk about money to others, bring everything all together, and you don't want to talk to your competitors because they'd steal all your clients. But then actually when you start going to those, the value that it brings, you might go to a conference, you might not learn anything, but you've built a great network. There's a really weird feeling after you've left a conference. I can't describe it, but you just feel so motivated to do different
level
things.
Up. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
So I think, from a mental health perspective as well, it's like a bit of a serotonin boost.
100%. Yeah, that's so true. Every time I go to one, I always think, so we were just at Chiang Mai, we heard a couple of people speak there and they were sort of next level. One guy's in the last year, maybe 2 years before he sells his agency he's already at 100 million valuation.
Wow.
It makes you think, God, that's where I want to be. But you don't come back feeling jealous. You just think come back motivated to go and just get to the next level. It's really good.
Maybe a hangover in there as well.
Yeah, maybe a slight one, which is why you go out drinking on the night before, so you just wake up feeling
absolutely. Get things going. But no, absolutely, you do get a nice buzz, and it's just good to talk to people.
Yeah. 100%. Okay, just last question then. Where do you see the industry going? SEO trends, technology, socials, what do you see happening in the near future, the next few years?
I think that ties into nicely to what we were saying about earlier with search. I think Google's not going to go anywhere. I think it's going to adapt to how things are going, which it is with the AI overview and different things coming into SERPs. I think ChatGPT and using AI as a search engine is going to be more and more prevalent. Absolutely. Because I've got ChatGPT on my phone, I've got it open now. If there's a question, I was yesterday looking at profit margins, and I was like, if we charge this, rather than putting it in and figuring out the formula, it just did it in front of me, and I was like, oh great. So using it more for search, which people are starting to use. So I think that's going to be the next thing that's going to crop up. Google's not going anywhere, but changes in how we do search is going to be very prevalent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. And I think for us as well, as sellers of digital PR and high authority link building, I think for us, we're keeping a very close eye on how we can manipulate the large language models to basically optimize. So, large language model optimization. So we already have a sense that it's based on trust and authority signals from mentions across high authority sites, maybe backlinks, maybe a combination of different things, but there's no sort of, as there probably never will be. We need to crack the code. That's what we're going to be looking at, because more and more people are going to be using multi-platform as opposed to just Google. It's going to be Google, Perplexity, ChatGPT. They're going to search everywhere. So we need to optimize everywhere.
Absolutely. And using high quality links as well, not your $10 guest posts. And, when clients come to us saying, we want to do links, we actually present a list of good websites. If it's for guest posting, or if it's link insertions and stuff, maybe, chucking a bit of good press stuff in there too. You can't go wrong. And I think a lot of people don't do link building very well. So you guys do it very well and properly, which is important to do, and ethically as well.
I think that's where it's probably going industry wide anyway. Although I still know people at Chiang Mai that were ranking websites with PBNs and making an absolute goddamn fortune. So who knows?
Well, until they get knocked off the cliff, and then
but if they're going to rank and bank and then get the hell out of there, then
then you have to look at, is it even, obviously in a business point of view, is that an ethical thing to do?
No, these are dodgy casino crypto sites, but
absolutely. There we go. If it works for 6 months. And then
No. If you've got a real business, then don't touch that stuff. But
do it properly.
Yeah, 100%. Tom, it's been an absolute pleasure. Where can people go if they want to find you, if they want to talk to other nerds from Nautilus?
LinkedIn's the best place to be. I love LinkedIn. I post on there all the time. Our website, nautilusmarketing.co.uk, or I put loads of YouTube videos on as well. So on there.
Okay, and were you ever cast in an advert, and where can we see that on YouTube?
Yes, but I'm never sharing that information. I tell you what, there was a really funny one I did when I first started. It for Panasonic. They just launched, like the smart cameras, and the role I played was a young guy that come back from a party dressed in a chicken outfit, severely hungover, and then like the parents see them coming in. Yeah, that was.
Is that on YouTube?
Yeah, but you won't be able to find it.
Okay, you better tell me after this podcast. Thanks for coming, Tom. It's been great.
Cheers, Chris. Thank you very much.
Thank you.